Welcome to Dubs Talk Live. I'm Zena Keita here, joined by Warriors reporter Dalton Johnson. We are very, very pleased to have you back in the building, Dalton, just to start off the Dubs Talk Live season with you. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's fun.
Of course. And of course, we welcome you back with a win. Warriors take down the New Orleans Pelicans 130-102. Third road win for the Warriors. Last time they were able to do that. Last year, the first time was in December. So ahead of schedule for the Warriors. Steph was cooking, the bench was cooking, the rookies were cooking, everybody was in the kitchen.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was the Warriors' third straight road win. They did not have a 3-game win streak on the road once last season. Not once.
Okay.
And they started off 3-0 on the road. This is exactly what you want to see out of this Warriors team. We know Steph is doing Steph things. Came out of the gates absolutely on fire. 11 points in the first 4 minutes. Scored 16 of the Warriors' first 18 points. So again, he was Steph. But the great thing is that the season hasn't been only about Steph. It's other people stepping up. And that was the case again tonight in New Orleans.
Well, first, let's get to the main event, right? Because Steph was spectacular. Festus mentioned this in the postgame. You don't want to get bored. You don't want to realize that, hey, we're watching greatness in front of our eyes. He was phenomenal. 16 of the first 18 points scored by the Warriors was Steph Curry. He was doing it all alone for the first half.
And it's the efficiency in which he's doing it, right? I mean, look, 42 points, 30 minutes on 22 shots. I mean, that's where I'm talking about, where it's not like he's having to just chuck up these deep shots. Yeah, he's doing Steph Curry shots from deep, but 7 for 13, he'll take that all day. He's getting to the free throw line. He's playing his game. It's amazing to remember what he's doing at this age. This is someone who's going to turn 36 years old this season. This is not normal.
Yeah.
Just as Festus said, just as you said. Take all this in, Warriors fans. You're only going to see it once. There's one number 30 for a reason. He's a one of one, and he reminded us again, as he has these first 4 games of the season.
And the thing I love about it is that he's having fun, right? He's still having a lot of fun. You can see him celebrating his wins rather than just expecting this. He still, I think, surprises himself even. It's fun. But then you think about the fact that he comes out. Steve Kerr just mentioned this. He comes out and you replace him with a Hall of Famer point guard, CP3. Finally, the Warriors have someone stabilizing their bench play. You look at what this lineup has been able to do. They were the most efficient in terms of plus minuses. This group right here ended up with a +9 on their time together tonight. What does it mean for this group right here to win these non-Steph minutes?
Everything. I mean, it's true, though. It's truly everything, because you think about these past few years, what happens when Steph goes to the bench, the way the game just gets, it gets sped up for the Warriors at times. Now you can slow it down with Chris Paul, give the defense a different look, but he just ingrains confidence in the players around him, the young guys, the vets, whoever Chris Paul is with. The trust factor is there so quickly. The bench has now scored 40 or more points in 2 straight games. Both of those games with Chris Paul coming off the bench. You just look at the way that it's increased in these first 4 games of the season. First game of the season, 31 points off the bench. Then it was 34, 41, 42. So it's only gotten better and better. And as I said, these last 2 games with Chris Paul coming off the bench, it's literally what we talked about on paper going to the court. Exactly what Steve Kerr and the rest of the Warriors coaching staff could have hoped for when they acquired CP3 is what he has shown so far on the floor for the Warriors.
It's translating so effortlessly for him to be able to fit in with this group. Of course, they said that he was going to be that veteran presence that brought that group together, that brought them a little bit of poise on the group, but you wouldn't have imagined the way that he's elevated their game. I love what Trace Jackson-Davis said about playing with him. He makes the game so easy, right? He called Chris Paul a pilot out on the court directing traffic, and that's a new one. Usually you hear quarterback, you hear what Draymond Green does from a defensive perspective, but from an offensive perspective, Chris Paul is a point guard that allows a younger player that's still developing, still trying to slow the game down, to make it feel as if, oh, I know where I'm supposed to be. because Chris Paul's on the floor.
Think about what Chris Paul provided for DeAndre Jordan. Think about what he provided for Blake Griffin when he was younger with the Los Angeles Clippers.
That's a great
and then
example.
even recently with DeAndre Ayton. You know, I mean, he just, again, he makes the game simpler, easier.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Trayce Jackson-Davis is someone who was a 4-year college player, but he's a rookie.
Yeah.
You know, so of course the game is going to feel sped up for you. But if you have a 19-year veteran, the point god as they call him,
right.
you know, calling out things as he's getting to half court and already saying, hey, you get here for the screen for me, and it's going to open up everything else, and now you're going to be a law presence. Now you're going to have an easy dunk.
Right.
Think about what that instills for you confidence-wise as a rookie. I can't even imagine it. It has to slow the game down so much more for Trayce Jackson-Davis, for Brandon Podziemski, all these people that are surrounded around Chris Paul right now.
Well, I want to talk specifically about those two, Trayce Jackson-Davis, Brandon Podziemski. Those two rookies showed up tonight and really came ready to play. Trayce Jackson-Davis has mentioned you have to be ready at any time to be tapped on the shoulder and to come in, and this is exactly what he did. You also just mentioned lob presence. High-flying Trayce Jackson-Davis, making sure people know what he's capable of in the paint, that they've got this young body that's getting up there and finishing through contact. Like, it was exciting to see some size presence for the Warriors.
Yeah, no, he brings a presence that the Warriors haven't had really since JaVale McGee as that rim-running lob threat. But again, this is somebody who was a 4-year college player, played for an NBA coach at Indiana under Mike Woodson. So he's coming in as a polished rookie, which is so much different than Steve Kerr has had in the past, especially with big men. You know, I mean, this is the opposite of what James Wiseman was when he first came in, being so raw, only 3 games of college under his belt. Trayce Jackson-Davis played 126 college games. You know, I mean, Steve Kerr's system is complex, but you saw what he can do off of 2 feet, catching the ball like that, playing with force. I love seeing what Trayce Jackson-Davis is bringing to the Warriors right away. I know that they took a rebound away from him, so it wasn't a double-double. But if you get 13 points and 9 rebounds from Trayce Jackson-Davis like that on the second night of a back-to-back, that is incredibly ideal for Steve Kerr and his coaching staff.
And not to mention those 4 blocks. Having size presence to actually defend at the rim is huge for the Warriors. And then his counterpart, Brandon Podziemski, Pods, as he's like to be called, also coming in and doing what is necessary from a guard position. He had 8 rebounds tonight. That's more than Victor Wembanyama had in his debut. 8 rebounds tonight, ended up plus 15 on the night. And first bucket, a little crossover move, letting the league know what he's capable of doing with the ball. What did you make of his game?
Brandon Podziemski really kind of showed exactly what he showed throughout the preseason slate.
Yeah.
Everything that we've heard from the veterans, what we've heard from Steve Kerr, is that this is someone who just has a feel for the game, a knack for the game. You know, it seems like nothing feels sped up for him, but also he is in the mix every time. You talked about 8 rebounds. Right when he got in there, he had a great tip out to Gary Payton II to keep the play alive that I believe might have led to a 3-pointer. And right away, as you said, the 8 rebounds, that's what he averaged at Santa Clara as a 6'4", 6'3", combo guard. So yes, he was for Santa Clara, for the Broncos. He was their number 1 offensive weapon, of course, He was the man for that. But he did the other things that have translated as a rookie to the NBA court that are going to get you minutes. He's putting his nose into it defensively. He wants to go for rebounds. The 3-point shot's not there right now, but it doesn't need to be. Right? I mean, immediately he comes on the floor. He plays 2+ minutes in the first quarter, 2 assists, including a 3-pointer that was Chris Paul's first 3-pointer in a Warriors jersey, wide open at the very end of the first quarter. Love seeing what Trayce Jackson-Davis did. Love seeing what Brandon Podziemski did. And again, they are earning their minutes, taking advantage of their opportunities.
And you know that that's exactly what you have to do when you play within the system of Steve Kerr, is as soon as you go in, prove your worth. And he did. He got the touchdown call from Chris Paul, finally getting his first 3 on the season. So shout out to Pods for that. He's actually at the podium. Let's see what he has to say about tonight's game.
I'm just happy we won, honestly. Just glad I was able to, get some minutes finally and contribute to winning, plus 15 in the box score. So just really out there trying to do as much as I can to help the team win. About 15 minutes before the game. Yeah, once I found out Clay was out, they told me play about 15 minutes. So, nah, never. The only time I had nerves was when we played LA for the first time during preseason, since that was my first time being out there. But every time I step out there, I feel more and more comfortable.
Are you sad to learn that Trace's baby teeth and
I mean, I know he's been working for it. He had a double-double in preseason, but Clay said it didn't count, and now he has one now. So, we'll see where it takes him, but super proud of him. He did his thing, both scoring the ball and rebounding. BP, that's it. Yeah, that's 6.
What's it like? You were up there plenty tonight with Chris, and even in time with Chris and stuff. Think about like
Way easier than college. So much more space. It's nice finally playing with people that have similar IQs to yourself and know how to play the game of basketball and create easy shots for your teammates and themselves. And just being out there with those guys and like I said, just playing my role and contribute to winning to make their jobs easier. That's what I'm here for.
you have to critique your performance, but how would you judge yourself?
Make my shots. 2 for 5. Missed a floater, so I usually make. Shot a 3 that I should have made. But other than that, I think I fouled 4 times, which I've never done that, I don't think, ever in my life. And the 2 turnovers, of course, at the end of the game.
How much film do you watch? Like after this game, you got your first engagement on film now. How do you dissect that, in days?
Yeah, our coaches do a great job of, sending us a link to just our minutes personally. But then I'll watch my minutes and the team's the whole game and look what I could have done better. Obviously, it's a small sample size of just 1 game, so you don't look too much into it. But I'll for sure look back, and there's definitely stuff I can improve on for sure. But yeah, I'm glad we won.
It's adorable that he came to the podium with a ball. I'm sorry, I just absolutely love it. That is a baller status right there. We're going to talk about some of his teammates. Moses Moody also making a very big impact on the game tonight. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Dubs Talk Live. Hello, sorry. And camera. We are on camera. What's up, guys? Hello, everyone on YouTube. Hello, family. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Dalton, I want to ask you, because this is a comment in here. What do you think about the in-season tournament?
I'm all for trying something new. So I think at first it's again kind of one of those things where you see it and you're like, how is this all going to work out?
Yeah.
And even with 2 of the Richard Jefferson videos we saw tonight, I'm still like,
I know.
okay, so this group here, this group there.
Yep.
I'm trying to just simplify it down for myself,
Yeah.
but overall, I'm all for something new. Like, why
Sure.
not?
Yeah.
I remember actually in Summer League talking to Guy Santos about it because he's played internationally in Brazil, and we've seen it obviously in international soccer, but international basketball does something very similar.
Yep.
So he's like, it's something that it does get you up for something again. So I think at the end of the day, winners want to win. The Warriors have said that they want to win this. Let's have some fun with it.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you. I think it's funny because the WNBA has a similar thing, right? The Commissioner's Cup. And I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know who's in what group. Right? And like half the time when you're watching a WNBA game, there'll be something like maybe on like ESPN.com or whatever that says this is a Commissioner Cups game. And it's like, oh,
Sure.
great, cool. I really don't even know until it comes to the Commissioner's Cup.
Yeah.
I'll have to go check the stats. So I feel like it's going to be something that we don't even really recognize until we get the 4 teams
Bingo.
that are going to Vegas.
Yep.
But we'll see. Welcome back to Dubs Talk Live. Warriors took down the Pelicans 130-102. Klay Thompson and Jonathan Kuminga were not available tonight, and some people stepped up in the midst of that. And one of those people were Moses Moody. Got his start tonight and ended up playing really well for the Warriors. Finished out with 13 points in 21 minutes, 5 of 8 from the floor, 2 threes, as well as ending up plus minus 18. The highest number, outside of Kevon Looney, but really, really well for Moses Moody. What did you like about the way he showed up tonight for the team?
Also, another number that we didn't include there was no turnovers.
Oh, that's right. That's a big
you think
big
about
zero.
someone who's getting a spot start like that
Right.
for Klay Thompson, and at this point, I'm almost becoming surprised when Moses Moody misses a shot. You know, you get to that level where whether it's a young person like a Moses Moody or a Jonathan Kuminga, and you're seeing them make a three-pointer and going, oh, great to see. You're almost surprised when they're young. Now in year 3, when Moses misses, I'm like, oh. Okay.
He's so
I didn't know he
soft.
could miss like that.
Yeah,
because everything is so fluid with him now. Everything is so in flow with the game. He's never rushed. We always talk about how ready he is night in and night out. You even talk about Trace Jackson Davis was saying after the game, Moses is the one who told him, hey, you're going to find out last minute when you're ready to play. Just got to be ready.
Yeah.
Keep things simple. So Moses Moody is up to a great start so far, and you're just seeing where if Klay Thompson needs a rest, if Jonathan Kuminga needs a rest, anyone else going forward, whether it's Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, whoever it might be, the depth on this team through the first 4 games has been such a bright spot. And Moses Moody is at the top of that list right now. He is firmly in the rotation. I don't see a world where he's coming out of it.
So I'm curious because everyone's been hearing this whole third year leap, right? And what does that actually mean for Moses Moody? Because we know that his his leap looks different than what Jonathan Kuminga looked like. So for you, what would you assess as the things that he needed to do in order to make his third year leap?
Yeah, it's interesting because these are 2 players who did win a championship as a rookie.
Yeah,
and they did actually have bright spots as rookies on a championship team. But then you think about going into that year 2, where as a bench player, as a role player, you're only given so many opportunities, and you're trying so hard to make everything out of that opportunity. And I think that they just didn't have this full confidence where everything was up and down. And now you understand the system. The game is slowed down for you. You know what a big part of this team that you are, and you're not going, okay, am I going to play tonight? Am I going to sit tonight?
Yes.
I might only get 2 shots, so I better make at least one of them. So I think, again, the way that the coaches have trusted them, the way that they're more firmly in this rotation, and it's not so give and take, it helps big time. There's a mental part of that too, right? So, yes, they are 2 different players, but I think the mental side of it is just as important for a 21-year-old as a physical side as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember that even from when I used to play. As a freshman, you come in, and if you make one mistake, you are deadly afraid. Okay, I'm about to go right back to the bench. I cannot make this mistake. Whereas you're a junior or senior, you're just like, all right, I get to play through that.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see them kind of getting that junior confidence a little bit out of them. But with that, Moses Moody playing so well, one of the veterans did not play as well and has been pretty tepid throughout the start of this season, and that's Andrew Wiggins. We talked about him in the last game. This game finished out with 9 points. First points coming within that third quarter, 7 points of those 9 within that third quarter. Did not grab a rebound in the last game, was able to come out and grab one early, but then only finished with 3. He's just not providing as much as the Warriors need out of him. What are you seeing for Andrew Wiggins needs to change in order for him to make more of an impact for this team?
Well, let's just talk about specifically this game, right? Where he started off at halftime, he was scoreless. 0 for 3 from the field, didn't make a single shot. But then the second half begins, and you see that they fed him down low for in the post. Not trying to force a 3-pointer, but in the post, turnaround makes it. So you saw them trying to force easier, simpler shots for him in the second half. I believe that he was 4 or 5 from the field in the second half, scored all his points after halftime. So when Andrew Wiggins is aggressive and he's playing downhill, everything is so much easier for himself and the Warriors in general. I think Moses' leap, Jonathan's leap so far at the early portion of the season has kind of helped erase a little bit of some of these Wiggins struggles, but he has struggled offensively. You know, he's such a important two-way player that sometimes we forget. A lot of the times his defensive assignment is the top scorer, the top perimeter. Such a great athlete, a De'Aaron Fox of the world. He was on Zion a little bit tonight, but they do need to get him scoring the ball more and more, right? Because so far the inefficiency has been really, really evident as Moses Moody, as Jonathan Kuminga have been efficient. So they need to kind of, I like that they came out of the second half and forced Andrew Wiggins down in the post like that. Don't have him sitting out kind of being a spectator the 3-point line, get him active, get him in the post, get him coming off screens downhill. When he plays downhill, when he attacks, the Warriors are a much better team.
I mean, that's who he's been throughout his entire career, is this explosive type of guard. I'm curious, do you think that there's a possibility he might not be a starter?
I don't think that they'll take him out of the starting lineup because, again, what he does for the team defensively is so critical, so important. So I don't see them taking him out of the starting lineup. But we've seen games where Jonathan Kuminga's closing instead of Andrew Wiggins in some of these tighter games early this season. And that's more of where I'll be watching. I don't think he's going to come out of the starting lineup, but Steve Kerr has said that the hot hand offensively and defensively is who is going to finish games. That might be Andrew Wiggins. It might be Jonathan Kuminga. Might be Kevon Looney. You don't know. We know a handful of guys who it's most likely going to be, with Steph, probably with Clay, with Draymond, CP3 a lot. And then there's kind of a handful of guys where, Steve Kerr can kind of pick his poison right now, where it's a tough decision as a coach, but it's a good problem to have.
Andrew said it's on him to make sure that the coaches don't make that decision against him. So GP2 is actually at this podium. He also had a very good game. Let's see what he had to say about the game.
BP's playing great. I don't think there's no other way to, but just to put him in a fire. He came in, gave us great minutes, rebound for us. He was distributing a little bit. So, he's just trying to be himself within the offense. And I think that's the only way you can learn is, just go out there and just get thrown on fire. Everybody on this team impacts in different ways. I just try to tell him to find his stitch and also do the little things. We got guys that do the heavy loads, just come in, try to make it easy for them. Do little things, box out, rebound, and just try to get them the ball as much as you can, run the floor, and, continue to be himself, though. Don't get away from what he does. And, he attacks and puts pressure on the defense and kicks out. So, he's making the right plays.
Like, when you come to camp this year, I wonder if that, he's 35 now, is there a chance he...
What, going down?
Yeah.
No. He said he's in his prime and he feels better than ever. So with Chris here, that cuts, half of what he's got to do, bringing up the ball and go and get it and get us into offense. So we got Chris. So about time fourth quarter comes late, he's got energy. He's still got energy to do what he does. And I think that's just another strength for us, to have CP come in and control and be able to handle the ball and get guys where they got to be and, let 30 just run around.
Chris is working quicker and better.
Yeah, it's just like, it's Chris Paul. Like, you can probably throw him in any team in the league and, he'll help. He does what he does. He's a leader. Like I said, he's a playmaker and gets guys organized, gets teams, talks to teams, defensive minded. So that's one thing I like about him. And me and him just talks about defense and, and young guys follow. Moses been, in the passing lanes and whatnot, and BP and Trace, he's just talking to all the young guys and, defensively. And on the other side, we know what to do, run out and, look for the guys we need to look for.
Don't know if you saw that biblical reference. Young guys follow Moses. But when we come back, we're going to talk about what the Warriors will be looking ahead to. Got some young teams to battle against. Don't miss out. We'll be right back on Dub Talk Live. YouTube. What's happening, folks?
What up?
All right, so I'm very curious. One, do you think tonight's outcome would have been different with Brandon Ingram on the floor?
I think Brandon Ingram is a great player.
Yeah.
Steve knows him from Team USA, knows what kind of scorer he is. So, yes, but do I think it would be a 28-point difference? No. I think that when Steph Curry is playing like this, when the Warriors' secondary players are continuing to contribute the way that they have, they're just going to be hard to beat. I really, really think that. I've said that from the very beginning that I think in the West that this is the second best constructed team, that I didn't want to go out and make a bunch of regular season win predictions by any means because they are older. They might sit some guys here and there, all of that, right? but they are a team that's built for the playoffs, and their depth is showing that already so early in the regular season.
I mean, at one point, I was just counting all the different lineups that they had. I've tweeted out they had 12. By the time that I tweeted out, by the end of the game, there were 3 more. So you could just see Steve is having a ball with us. He is having so much fun. When's the last time that he could just go down the bench and say, you know,
it's been a long
I got my
time.
right. It's been a
It just
long
has.
time. And it's not only go down the bench and be able to say, let me try something out. It's, let me try something out and trust that it won't ruin what's going on the court or the momentum. I mean, at any point, we saw this with the game against the Houston Rockets. At any point, a team can come back, right? And you saw this against the Sacramento Kings. The Kings got within 5. So it's really cool to be able to have him say, you know what, I think that we got it in the bag. Let me try some stuff out, and we'll see what happens.
That's right.
Well, let's look ahead to what the Warriors have to face in the next week. Starting off, coming back home to Sacramento, going against the Foxless Kings that will be at Chase Center, and then going against some very young but very capable teams. OKC, they got Chet Holmgren back. Of course, they've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and then going out to Cleveland and then Detroit to meet an old friend in James Wiseman. I'm very interested to see how the Warriors continue. I know they're going to have a break to come home, but 3 road games again, and then they continue on to Denver. And then again, Dalton Johnson, thank you for breaking this news. Kings have announced De'Aaron Fox is officially out with a sprained right ankle. They do anticipate that he'll be back within a week, but that won't be soon enough for Wednesday's game. And we know that matchup between Fox and Curry was exciting the last go-round.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox is a bona fide superstar. We know that. The Warriors will not take the Kings lightly. They are still a very good team, so it's going to be interesting to see how the Kings play without De'Aaron Fox, but that OKC game, that's what I'm going to be looking for. This is not just a sneaky young team anymore. This is a sneaky contender now.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes on that OKC Thunder game.
They're in that sophomore season, especially Josh Giddey and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I feel like they really are gelling, and then you add in Chet. I mean, the West is so packed right now. The West is so packed. The Warriors will get a break. They'll get to come home, rest, relax for a day on Halloween. So they're probably going to be out, going out with their kids. And then they'll be back at Chase Center. We'll see what happens. The Sacramento Kings are on a high note right now after beating the Lakers. And I know they want a little bit of revenge after the game being taken on their season opener with, Steph Curry dropping 41. Man. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Zena, Keita, Dalton Johnson. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks for joining us on Dubs Talk Live. Hello, friends on YouTube. So one of the things they mentioned within the chat is talking about the All-Star game coming to Chase Center. That is super, super exciting. I feel like 2025 is a huge year, right? You're launching a WNBA team. You've got the All-Star. And I think that this is a big All-Star, particularly because when you look at the last 2 locations of All-Star, Utah was a little dry. I was there. It was a little dry.
Literally.
Yeah, right. It was dry and cold. So it's just, this is a big city to be able to have an All-Star. There's going to be so much going on. And then on top of that, this is a sports town, right? And so I just think there's going to be a lot of fanfare and excitement around it. I'm really, really pumped for All-Star to finally, and then also, who doesn't want to just have it at home? Yeah, no, I think it'd be great for the players, great for the city. Yeah. I mean, I think that they're really going to try to make Thrive City, the hub around Chase Center, really, really important. So, yeah, 2025, I mean, what a time for Bay Area basketball with WNBA coming, with Chase Center hosting the NBA All-Star Game. Can't get much better for the Warriors with that. Yeah, and it's also a really great opportunity for the league to, outside of the finals, to be able to see and show off this space of Chase Center, Thrive City, as you mentioned. I used to work for the Warriors, and I know how much that was so key to be able to have that kind of center point within San Francisco as a sports epicenter. So I'm excited for them to be able to show it off, the little diamond of the Bay Area within Chase Center. So we'll see what happens there, but appreciate you all on YouTube joining us, and of course, always having a great chat. There's a lot of really good comments. CP3, what he could have meant for Jordan Poole.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little, it's a conversation we can't
That's
get
true.
in right now.
Yeah.
It's true. It's just too deep of a conversation. It's absolutely true. I'm just like rolling through and just seeing some really good stuff. I see some of you guys are excited for the All-Star game as well as the in-season tournament. 500K? 500K is 500K.
Yeah.
500K is money, regardless if you're making Steph Curry money, if you're making up our money. It's great, okay?
If Steph wants to share it,
right, exactly.
You know where to find me, Steph.
Just in case you need it.
Share that bag.
If you need help spending it after Vegas. No, I think it's going to be very, very exciting to see them buy in, right? Just having fun and just to buy into this tournament and get competitive. Because especially when you see these superstars really get after it and they want their younger players and their younger teammates to get into it as well. I love seeing them cheer each other on and things of that sort. I saw, Steph Curry high five CP3 after that 3 tonight. It was like these little elements that you see at the All-Stars, you see at the in-season tournament type of environments. It's fun.
It'll be a lot of fun. Can't wait.
Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. Again, Warriors back on Wednesday against the Sacramento Kings. De'Aaron Fox is out, but that does not mean the Warriors are not going to show up to play. Make sure to tune in. We will be back on Dubs Talk Live as well. Thanks all and have a wonderful night.